channel. If you are new here, I'm Christina. I do everything with home design and home decor hauls on a budget. So in today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about how to mix styles in the year of 2022. If you love videos like this, subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you, and let's get into it. All right, let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk about is how interior design is shifting. Now, I feel that we are shifting from going from one style to becoming more of a curated designer look in our homes, which I love for the year of 2022. I think people are done with the whole everything one style, keeping everything the same, matching sets. That is all done. People are now bringing in things in their home that they actually love, from nature, texture, mixing different styles, vintage, old and new, and they're combining them all in their homes now, which I think is beautiful and I love. And most designers do this, and the most curated, beautiful spaces that I have seen do this. So this is great, and I'm so excited to see this for the year of 2022. So the first thing we're going to talk about is how we're going to mix furniture styles in the year of 2022. So a lot of people were kind of stuck in this kind of straight line, modern furniture for a little bit, but now we're kind of looking to the new year for curved furniture. We're bringing in more curvy things, more rounded edges, not so straight lines, and people are mixing it in with more of those modern touches. So I love that for this year, and the way you can do this successfully is kind of just mix styles. So for example, in my dining room, I have more of a traditional farmhouse table that has those kind of curvy legs, but I brought in more of the boho Scandinavian vibe with my chairs. They're a lot more modern, and I just mixed that together. Now, to kind of bring in the old and new, you're gonna want to bring in a rug underneath your table that has more of a modern feel or more of a traditional feel. I brought in more of a vintage vibe to kind of mix up the styles successfully, and it looks amazing. I also brought in a beautiful boho pendant that kind of mixes the styles as well. You got boho here, you got a little farmhouse, a little traditional, and then vintage underneath the table. So you definitely can mix styles in any room of your home and do it successfully. Now, also in your living room, if you want to mix furniture styles in there, it's going to look beautiful. Trust me, you can do this. You do not need to stay to one style in a living room. You can do mid-century modern. Legs on your furniture, which looks really modern, is one of my personal favorite styles in furniture. And then you could do more of a traditional coffee table. You could do a round coffee table that looks a little bit less modern and mix it with the modern couch. You can bring in more of a traditional chair with more of a modern sofa. You can bring in more, stools that look a little bit more traditional, or maybe something found at a thrift store that looks vintage. You can bring that in with more of the modern furniture. It's really fun to mix up the furniture styles in your living room. It really is going to give you that designer curated look. So you can definitely do this successfully just by kind of searching your thrift stores, looking at vintage pieces, and bringing them in your home. So the next thing I kind of want to talk about here is how you can mix metals with lighting in your home. So if you wanted to kind of bring a curated look into your space as well, you don't have to have all the same types of lighting. So just for an example, in my living room, I have more of a modern lamp by my accent chair, but then I brought in more of a vintage vibe lamp on the back of my sofa that I found at a thrift store. I painted it. I made it look beautiful. It has more of that vintage Studio McGee look to it. And I mixed both of those lamps in the same room, and that brings some interest. That brings your eye, it allows your eye to jump around the room and not just say, oh, this is one style. I see many different styles in here, and this is exciting. It's mixing those lights that are really gonna bring you that beautiful space. And also in my dining room, I have a completely different light fixture than I have in my living room. I have more of a modern light over here, but then I have this kind of boho laid back lamp, but they're visible to each other in both rooms, but they work together. So you can also mix styles with your lighting. So the next thing I wanted to talk about here is how we're bringing back the archways in our homes now, which I think is beautiful. And I'm so happy about this trend because I already have the arched doorways in my home because our home was built in 1940, but I've always loved them, even when we moved in. It is a dated feature, but I feel like it brings so much character to our homes, and I love that we're bringing them back in our homes for the year of 2022. So if you already have arched doorways in your room, oh my gosh, leave them. They're beautiful. They're gonna be coming back in style, and you can bring in modern and old, and it's just gonna bring your home more character and just a more beautiful look in the end. So another thing I wanted to talk about is how you can mix decor pieces in your home to really mix the styles up. So if you like a mixture of styles like me, you can bring in more mid-century pieces, like for example, a plant stand on legs. You can bring that in with a snake plant or something more modern like that, and you can mix it with a vintage lamp on the other side or a vintage pillow on your chair. I mean, there's so many different ways to bring it in. You can bring in textured blankets that look a little bit more old world with more of a modern pillow, or more of a modern tray with a vintage piece or an old vessel. You can mix those things together. You can mix textures from outside. You can bring greenery from your yard. Mix all of these materials, the old vessels, the greenery, everything together, and it's gonna make your home feel very curated. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about is how people are bringing in mid-century modern, boho. We're bringing in this more like contemporary traditional look now with like more, we're leaning a little bit more towards that old world vintage with materials. I love that. You can definitely mix all of that into one space and make it work cohesively. As long as you're kind of sticking to one color palette, all of these styles can work successfully. So, you know, you just want to watch your color patterns. So when you're shopping, bring in, if you're doing all neutrals, make sure you're bringing everything in the same color variations. When you are shopping for those vintage pieces that are going to blend nicely into your home, and you can bring in the older with the new, and it's just going to bring a really beautiful curated look. Now, I just love mixing styles in my home, and I always have. And before this style that I have was even popular, I remember back when farmhouse was trending. It was the most popular interior design style, and I just couldn't really get into it. I liked it, but I really couldn't get into it. Even at that time, I loved boho, and I remember it wasn't even like exciting yet. It wasn't popular, but I didn't care. I just still loved boho, and then it blew up a year later. And see, the important part here is not to just go with what's trending, to appreciate the trends that are coming out, but always stick to what you truly love, because you're always gonna truly go back to that. And I've learned that over the years with all of my designing, that I truly love boho like deep in my core. It's like part of me. It's like, it makes me feel good. Whatever makes you feel good, you should bring into your home, and that's so important. So if a mixture of styles make you feel good, then just make sure that you're shopping them correctly. Bring in vintage, bring in boho, bring in mid-century modern, bring in traditional, mix them all together. Just keep with that cohesive color palette. So interior design can be really fun, and it's just a great way to explore yourself, find your interior design style. You can do this, it's really easy, and just remember those rules. Just keep to those color palettes, and it's gonna be a beautiful space for you. Another trend that I'm seeing for 2022 is people are bringing more color into their home, and I love this, you guys. And I painted my kitchen a beautiful color called sage green, but I've always loved this color. And what's funny about it is I kind of did this before I even knew it was going to be the color of the year for 2022. I love it. I thought that it flowed with the rest of my space, and it just connected everything together. So I'm loving that we're bringing more color into our homes for this year, and we're mixing it in with old and new. That is so great, you guys. So if you want to paint your kitchen or your living room a bold color this year, it is trending. It is beautiful. If you love it, do it. It's going to make your home look really curated. Also, if you love more of that coastal feel, but you also like farmhouse, and you like, or if you like European style, you can mix those together so successfully. Like for example, if you want to do a beautiful art that has more of that coastal feel above your fireplace, you can bring in more farmhouse candle holders next to it. To the right, you can bring in some olive stems. You can do a boho vase with that. You can mix styles even with your decor, even down to the nitty-gritty things in your home. And it's gonna work out beautifully. That is the fun part about interior design. Don't always question yourself, well, I don't know my style, I don't know my style. Look on Pinterest. Here is another way for you really to figure out and kind of hone in on what you love. Keep looking at all of the pictures that you've been passing by, or you pinned, or you looked twice at it. If you looked twice at a picture, that's an example of something that you really love on Pinterest. So go back to that and really remember that picture, because those are the things that you love and you should bring into your home. Not what's trending, not what everyone else is doing, but what you love is what you should bring into your home. All right, you guys, well, that was it for today. I hope you loved this video. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what your favorite part was, and I will catch you guys next week. Bye, guys.